Hello, my name is Anna Torelli, and today in this video I want to talk about a couple of things that I believe are very important. Becoming a student of life. So in this video I am going to talk about why it is important to learn, to study, and to read, and that is definitely one of my hobbies. I love to read. I wish I had more time for it because I have mentioned before, I have a beautiful family and also I have a full-time job. I want to go over things that I do and things that I learn about. Learning and studying and expanding your knowledge is very important, but I wanted to give some suggestions as to what exactly to learn and why it is important to learn and to benefit ourselves. And also, I want to expand on what I mean by becoming a student of life. First, I want to talk about why. Why is it important to learn? Why do we need to keep our mind going? Because health-wise, it affects us so many ways. Your health will affect you emotionally, physically, of course, mentally, as well as socially and spiritually, because of course, one, we can think better, be able to navigate life better, right? Think through problems and everything else that we got to do, because our mind affects our emotions. So our emotions depend on our mind, and it depends on what type of mindset you have, what type of thinking you have, what beliefs you have. It has to do with all of you health-wise. The mind is affected by everything. When our minds are healthy, our emotions are healthier. We are able to monitor ourselves, which we should be doing. We should be developing emotional intelligence, as well as dealing with other things. How do we deal with the world outside? And having a healthier mind also does affect you physically, because also you may not be as motivated to do exercise or what kinds of things you're going to be doing throughout the day, whether it's movement or you're just sitting down or those kinds of things. You're expressing how you feel, right? Most of the time. Therefore, it also affects your social life, because how you feel and your mind, how it is acting and reacting, as well as any response that it gives. Also spiritually, how much are you willing to put into your spiritual work, your spiritual life? Everybody has to decide that kind of thing, right? What you will do, whether you go to a church or whether you go, you do an online church, as well as a monastery, different kinds of religions that you feel you would be connecting with. So it is important to keep learning and to keep growing your knowledge, basically growing your life, the status of your life. Now, another reason why I believe it is important to study and to learn, not just any research that you do online, but reading is very important. You can learn to use all your knowledge to your advantage. Whatever it is, whatever your interest is, you can use that knowledge. But meaning also, if you are learning emotional intelligence, if you're reading about it, if you're referring to it, looking at cases, looking at how people act, all that kind of stuff, it is something that you can implement into your life. And by that, I mean that you will be working on your weaknesses as well as enhancing your strengths. Everybody can get better. Everybody can work on it. Everybody can learn to work on it. So it is something that it is your choice to read or to learn and to implement all that knowledge. So becoming the best version of yourself takes a lot, really, but it also makes you more confident, self-aware, composed, mature, and also just a better navigator of life. Becoming the better version of yourself does take a lot of work. As I have talked about in other videos, I overcame depression. I have worked on myself so much, and it is something that has taken a lot of honesty and a lot of looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly of yourself. Easy to look at the fears that you have, everything that scares you, everything that you have done wrong, everything that you analyze in your life. It is not easy to do. Some of us do not want to face it, and that's fine. But when you are ready, you can learn to do so, and also do so in a safe space, so that way you yourself are nurtured, and it's not just about beating yourself up. It is about getting better and definitely learning to be a better person, not just for other people, but for your own life, what you will enhance in your own life. And also you get to learn that compassion becomes a very big part of it. You have to be compassionate with yourself and learn to see that you did the best you could at the time that you had, with the knowledge that you had, and the times, the situation, the circumstances that you had. So learning to be compassionate with yourself is a journey in itself as well, but we can all learn to do so. I believe in this day and age, it is important to nurture ourselves and become somebody that watches out for yourself. So becoming the best, I guess I want to say, protector of your own self, as well as the best friend that you yourself can have. And it is possible. You can definitely learn to be that type of person with yourself first. Compassion has to start with yourself, because once you yourself experience that compassion, you're able to project it out in life. You're able to understand how much people can also need that. Everybody needs compassion, right? And it's important to pass that along in this day and age. Another reason why it is important to learn and to keep studying is because you can learn about anything that is important to you. Like for me, I love reading about nature. If it's any movie, like making movies or any kind of topic, everything is out there. There is so much information out there that a lot of people have put their time and effort into learning and being able to write books about. And it is such a wonderful thing that somebody else has put the time to research and to have those people share what they know about the subject, what they have learned. So I believe really it's important to expand our knowledge from what others have definitely worked on. So now I want to go over what exactly is important to study. What is it that we need to learn? Well, again, these are my suggestions, but I believe it is suggestions that will expand yourself as a human being. So number one that I want to go over is studying a new language. So currently I'm studying Italian. I'm trying to learn in how to speak it well. I can kind of read it for the most part, but it's still important to have that sort of flow of the way the words come out, and also learning to respond in the language, right? So those kinds of things will expand your horizons, I want to say, because you will be able to be communicating with other people that you never could before. And it's such a beautiful thing when people really do get together and talk and get to know each other's differences as well as the similarities that we have. And also, Spanish is my native language, so I definitely like to translate the Italian to English to Spanish, and also as I'm trying to learn. The way that I'm trying to do it is to make sure that I am writing the sentences that I don't really normally get or that I'm not understanding, because that is what will strengthen those weaknesses, right? And I also try to listen to music that is in Italian as well as read in Italian a little bit, and I try to practice it as I'm doing my best. But what has been helping me more is to write it and definitely have notes about what I have been learning. So I want to show you one of my notebooks, or some of my many notebooks. So I want to talk about my books that I have. This is my notes and lists books. I have 3 of them. And I want to start out by showing the index. So this book came about basically because I was taking notes of things that I was finding online or on books or whatever I was reading. And I started taking notes. So this is a more detailed index that I did of this one. Let me show you some of the stuff. So I was taking notes of different books. Notes of anything like crafts, moon placements, anything that came about, even quotes. I was doing writing down a little mind map thing. It is full of so many things, like improvement goals, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That is a wonderful book. I definitely recommend it. I'm also reading Awaken the Giant as well. Also, I did journal challenges on this one, exercises, and looking at the index, I did all kinds of things. So again, I wrote down on here because I also did a reading of the book, Emotional Intelligence. I was writing notes about it. And over here, I write like other things, videos that I took notes of, random notes, and that's the page numbers, places to go to that I wanted to also keep a list of, journaling challenges, as well as things that I have learned, and exercise as well. So all kinds of things that I was taking notes on, anything that was interesting to me. Again, quotes, even I did what I wanted to create. I wanted to do something that was going to be the moon phases. So all kinds of things that I took notes on, and I continued on with book 2. So this one, and again, the setup of the books is very simple. I use 1 page for that entire topic. So the top of it, of course, is saying what it is. I have the page number, is the one in the box. Then it's the previous page as well as the next page. So I'm even going through books like book 1, number 78, which was over here, is right there. So Awaken the Giant Within. So I was continuing from there, and this came from page 77. So I didn't write which was the next page, which it did continue on to another book. So this book, I was trying to note the page numbers, and it's actually more like a glossary because the glossary does list the topic and then the pages that it mentions. So I was trying to do that with this one. I was even trying to keep track of cart maintenance and medical appointments in this book, which I actually ended up moving to another book by itself. So medical appointments, cart maintenance, anything that was I needed to keep up with. I started incorporating other topics like DIY stuff. What to journal, nutritional stuff too. Anything that I wanted to try out at some point. So all kinds of things. I do want to mention my Italian. So this is what I was doing, or I am doing actually. I have it in different books as well. So this is page 147. The next book will be number 3. So it's over here in this book. But I am writing the English version, the Italian version, and then the Spanish. And I did it for several ones. So there was different things that I've been doing with this book. Even audiobooks were something that I wanted to incorporate. And if I'm trying to learn something, I was trying to do another topic where I was trying to improve my mind. So different things to learn and to incorporate in my life. So videos that I've watched, improving my mind. Again, another page with Italian. Exercise stuff, which I really need to get into more. It is a goal of mine for the rest of this year to be more active physically. So that is something that I am going to incorporate more in my life. But this is something that can help anyone. And in the third one, I wanted to show that I was doing, there's the Italian. Even doing reviews for my own life. So I sometimes go over daily review, like what I actually did throughout the day. Of course, I'm not going to say that I do it all the time. Even doing a weekly type of checklist to check what I want to incorporate in the week, and monthly. So tasks that I want to get into or add to my calendar, what I'm doing. And journal prompts. So again, this is something that I have been doing for a while, but I do recommend you taking your own notes of what kinds of things you want to do. This came about basically because, again, I was trying to do notes, is what I was incorporating into one book, but that is why I started doing the notes on here, and I wanted to have them separate. And now I can just open to any certain page as I want. So going over the index, I can find whatever I want to look at and just incorporate it in my life. Do whatever I feel like I need to do. So this has been very helpful for me, and I really do recommend having notes like this. It is actually a very useful thing. I do want to show that I was doing the index different this time. So I was doing the page and then what other page it went to. And I was trying to do it very neatly. So that is how I do my basic notes. I think it's for me, it's very organized, and it helps me do different kinds of things and review my own life. And also have the notes that I wanted to have, like the books that I'm doing, are reading up on. I believe it is important to use those kinds of things. The knowledge that we have so much access to knowledge nowadays. It is such a wonderful thing to have that as an asset and to help us become better people. So all kinds of things that I like to take note on, and eventually I want to try all these kinds of things. So I'm not just taking notes just to take notes. It is really taking notes to implement into my life and to make sure that my life is going to be more, I want to call it a richer life, because I get to experience all those kinds of things and learn about those kinds of things. And it's something that definitely interests me. So it keeps me going in what kinds of things that I want to work on and do and learn about. But that is something that in the books I want to keep on going. So these notes will keep on going throughout my life. Now, another thing that I believe is very important to learn is learning to read body language, people's behavior, what the intention of other people will be when it comes to the relationships that you have with them. So also with that, as you're learning body language and learning to read people, which is not in some things it's easy and some things it's not. You may not always be right, but at least you have a sense of the intentions of this person. Now, if this person is definitely showing bad intentions toward you, you definitely get to detect those kinds of things earlier and figuring out what to do about it. If that person really is going to use some sort of action against you or that kind of thing. Or even if it's not just like they're trying to hurt you deliberately, but sometimes control you. So people try to control people a lot, but it is a common thing that us humans like to do. And sometimes it's very important to note that when somebody's trying to control you, when the deception is becoming big, right? And you start to get those kinds of feelings of like, wait a minute, something doesn't feel right here. Or discerning what kinds of people are you letting into your own circle. I really do believe it is important to keep ourselves safe by determining who has access to you, who can really get your emotional strings pulled, who can actually, because you love that person, you will do more things for. So it does depend on how the relationship is, how you are navigating that relationship. How is that person reacting to what you are doing yourself too? So social interactions can be very hard to to predict, right? You can never predict a person. Besides that, we cannot control anybody else. But at least you can learn to see the patterns. Every single time that you are with this person, you need to start noting what they are doing. Do they seem nervous? Do you get a sense of like something ain't right in the back of your mind? Are you thinking of any possibilities this person could be lying to you? Notice what you also are feeling with this person, what you are noticing in the interaction. Every time you talk to somebody is an opportunity to learn what they are doing and learn about them. Now, I don't mean in the sense that we are trying to ourselves manipulate them. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is keeping boundaries and actually making sure that this person is not going to hurt you and does not have the sense or the intention of hurting you at any point. Anybody can turn on anybody. Therefore, it is important to learn those types of things and those types of signs that people can give when they are interacting with you. So it would be very smart actually on your part if you start learning body language, if you start learning people, the psychology of people. What exactly do they seem to be doing? What do you believe is their train of thought, their process, their what is their goal in life? What are they about? The more you know about others, again, you will be able to determine, again, who is close to you, who gets to have that privilege of being close to you, because not everybody should have that privilege. People who deserve to have your energy and anything that you give out as, I want to say, somebody that helps out other people, especially if that's who you are as a person. You're naturally giving, you're naturally helping others. Some people do take advantage. So that's why it's important to keep track of who exactly is trying to do that in your life. If you are thinking of doing this where you start learning the body language in other people, that you keep your information to yourself. Because once you let people know that that's what you're doing, they try to be more controlled with around you. They start to learn that they cannot be themselves. If deception is the end goal, especially, they need to be more sneaky about it, or they need to learn how to do it differently with you. Because every person that wants to deceive somebody has to sort of, in a way, learn how they can be deceived, right? So it is important to learn those kinds of things and have discernment when it comes to other people. Relationships that do matter, the relationships that are best to keep, and the ones that will bring you more joy and more happiness. Because in reality, I believe, it is my belief that every single interaction you have or every single relationship you keep should be nurturing you. It should be actually making you better as a person, not just you yourself, but also the other person. So it should be a win-win situation, right? We should be helping each other as human beings that we are. Also, this will help you knowing when to walk away from situations, from people, and also places. Now, you need to learn when it is best for you not to be around this person or you not to be around in this situation. A lot of us can get in trouble for not paying attention and not being aware of what is really going on with other people, with the situation, with what you are living. About relationships, I truly believe it is not supposed to be depending on what you can do for the other people. It should not be based on transactions. No one should be with you because of what you can do for them, technically, right? It should be about love and camaraderie, right? Not just about what you can do for the other person and they don't give back. So it is a two-way street of helping each other. And the reason you keep that relationship is because it's going to enrich your life and give you a sense of fulfillment as well, right? Even if it's just their interaction, even if they just tell you you're pretty or you have great energy or those kinds of things, even if it's just about the interaction itself and not that you are doing something, because even the interaction itself can be a transaction. And what I mean by this is that even the interaction can be based on emotions that you portray or you give or you give them. So it's all kinds of things that interactions can do. It's not just about what is being said. It really is what energy you are sharing with that person, the type of interaction it is. So let's say it's a loving interaction. Of course, both parties are going to feel good about it, right? If it's not a happy relationship, it's a sad one, and there is conflict and all that kind of stuff constantly, then of course you feel depleted at times because it is not fulfilling you. So knowing what kinds of interactions you want to have with people, and understand sometimes that even though you may not know now and you may see that they are taking advantage of you now, that does not mean you have to stay in the same spot. It means that you have a choice whether to stay or to go. So learning that we have choices. Everywhere we go, we have choices as well. Now, the next thing I think is important to learn is to learn from other people's experiences. Now, whether it is good or bad or very ugly, you need to learn what is best not to do, in the sense of like as a society, right? Of course, you see people that get arrested and you see what they did to get arrested, right? Does that mean you should be doing what they are doing? No. It just means you get to see what can happen from that situation, that type of situation, right? So learning what is best not to do by seeing the types of experiences other people have. And again, even if it's a good experience, they went through college, let's say, they got their degree, they got their business or whatever they are doing, you're seeing results based on the experience that they are having. So it is important to learn from that. Now, when you are following the life of someone and you're learning from their experiences, it is best to learn from somebody that you share values with. So if they are very motivated into fitness and you think that is like and you believe that that is the type of track you want to have in life, then great, you get to learn about that, right? Or even get to talk to other people about their experience. So getting to know other people, not just young people, not just older people, everybody has a certain experience in something. So therefore, I believe it's very important to talk to people, to get to know them, to get to know what they went through. And in a way, yes, to learn what not to do or what to mirror that you want in your own life. So determining those kinds of things, discerning the information that you receive by what you are studying and learning, in a sense, from the other people. Now, I want to get to the point of becoming a student of life. Now, everything that I have been talking about in this video is sort of that. You become a learner of everything that you are experiencing. Every interaction every situation is trying to teach you something. You are supposed to learn from life what exactly you are willing to have, willing to do, what you are capable of. You get to learn that part, what you are not capable of. We sometimes have to see our limits, right? So becoming a student of life means that you are analyzing and you are learning from every single moment in your life. It doesn't mean that you are constantly writing about everything that you are seeing, but you are processing everything in your mind and you are going through it and learning and seeing what kinds of things are the same, not the same, or what exactly you need to learn from it. Sometimes the lesson is hidden. I'm not going to lie, but it is something that you can learn about if you start journaling, if you start talking to yourself about it. The more you let yourself just express whatever it is on paper, the more you will see that there are patterns about you. There are different kinds of things about you that you may not be aware of. You may not know exactly how much passion you have for whatever you are doing in a certain class or whatever the case, in school, not in school. So this whole thing about becoming a student of life, it's not just for everybody that is in school. It is for every single person to do. We all are learning from our experiences, whether it is to learn that we shouldn't leave late because that makes us late to work, right? But instead learning, let's see, your own philosophy of life is one thing that you will start seeing. You will the point is to get to know yourself. And by knowing yourself, you are able to express yourself in such a way that you can give more energy to people, you can fulfill other people's lives, you can be funny, you can change in the way that you want to be. It is something that is so, I want to say, exciting to me because in a way, I spent so much time in my life being depressed and actually hating this, hating that, that I did not see the full potential of something that can be learned and that can be expanded. Now that I have that chance, that is what I want to do. And that is why I do all kinds of writing, all kinds of things, because I am learning about myself, and not just about myself, life itself. And your thoughts, your emotions, everything that it goes through your mind, whether it is your imagination too, that is something worth noting. How far are you supposed to go if you can imagine it? If you can see the possibilities of whatever can be done, it is such a, I want to say, an eye opener, because you have more opportunities in life if you start learning and seeing with your eyes in a different way. Everything that we go through is to become better. We are not here just to suffer. We are here as a species to learn to become better in our own right. We have so much potential as humans, and it is such a wonderful thing to get to know what limit we can get to. Like, even if it's about learning that my feelings can feel so much better when I am in nature, when I put more thought into my own self and review everything that I can about myself, I am refining myself. I am trying to better myself into the kind of person that I see myself being is the best, the very top that I can be. So why not take that opportunity to do that as well for yourself? Because everybody has the potential to be the best they can be. It is just a matter of making that choice and sticking to that choice. And eventually you will work towards it and getting your goal, achieving your goal. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I hope that somebody out there can actually start thinking about this stuff and learn themselves about themselves. So I truly believe it is one of the best journeys we can have when you are learning about your own self and discovering what exactly is in there. It's just about going within. Anything outside of you is not going to bring you what's already inside. It is important to look within. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate everybody who does support. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like this type of content. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.